Hey everybody, Alvin here with another video. Thanks for tuning in. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing camera bags, specifically the Lowepro Protactic 450AW and the Incase Camera Pro Pack. Now, both of these bags are favorites out there in the photography and videography communities, but I'm going to give you the rundown on some of the pros and cons between the two backpacks, as well as the similarities, and fill you in on which bag I prefer to use on a day-to-day basis. Let's get into the review. Alright, so let's talk about these two backpacks. So on my right, I have the Lowepro Protactic 450AW, and on the left, I have the Incase Camera Pro Pack. Now I want to dive into some of the similarities between the two before I go into the pros and cons of the two backpacks. Now, both backpacks hold a lot of gear and are deep enough to store your larger cameras. So if you have a full frame body, something like a 1DX Mark II or Mark III, anything like that, your larger body cameras, these backpacks are perfect for that. So you can't go wrong with either one. Another thing that's similar is that both backpacks are rear accessible. So the Lowepro opens up more like a vertical direction, whereas the Incase opens up in a horizontal or sideways direction. I tend to like this design better than the Lowepro design. Reason being is because I think if you look at this, it takes up less real estate than say the Lowepro, that you're kind of getting like almost two backpacks length of real estate occupied when you're opening it. So I do prefer the Incase design there. They both have rain covers. The Lowepro does a good job of hiding the rain cover in this secret compartment here at the bottom. And you take this out, flip it out over the backpack, cover it when it's raining, and when you don't need it anymore, you can tuck it away pretty safe and securely here at the bottom. Incase, what they do is they include the rain cover in the backpack, but it doesn't have its own compartment. You just have to remember to carry it with you whenever you need it. Again, similar to the Lowepro, you take the cover out, cover the backpack when you need it. When you don't, put it back in. Although I would recommend maybe having a plastic bag or something like that so that you can place it into your backpack when you no longer need it if it's wet. Now, another thing about the two backpacks that I really like is that they're well built, a lot of padding, and very durable. Now the padding between the two are pretty stellar. The durability and the materials that they use is pretty strong, abrasive resistant. You can't go wrong with either or backpack. So those are some of the similarities. Now let's dive into more individually the pros and cons of each backpack, and we're gonna start with the Lowepro. Alright, so the Lowepro, here are some of the pros for the backpack. Now, as you can see on the exterior, there are a ton of straps here. So you got this custom strap here. There's another one inside the backpack that you can use to hook onto these loops as well. This definitely helps with additional capacity on the exterior of the backpack. Let me show you. So you've got these accessories that also come with the Lowepro bag, and each one of these have these velcros with some of these loops here, and you can loop each one of these into those straps, and they can hang off to the side anywhere that you want. Pretty customizable on the backpack there. So big plus when it comes to expandability. Now the other pro I like about this backpack is it has a removable waist strap. So waist straps come in handy when you have a lot of gear in your bag and you're hiking long distances or just traveling long distances. Trust me, when this backpack gets heavy, you want to have as much support as you can alleviated off of your shoulders. And this backpack with the waist strap makes it a lot more doable when it comes to walking long distance with a lot of load on your back. Now, as I mentioned, it's removable, so if the waist strap ever gets in your way, you can remove it, store it somewhere until you need it. The other cool thing about this waist strap is there's additional storage with that. So a huge plus when it comes to the Lowepro and its waist strap. Another positive is, now you may not see it here, but with some of the accessories, it actually comes with a water bottle holder. Now, going back to expanding a backpack, you can mount this anywhere that you choose to on any of these straps, but it will serve as a water bottle holder, and you can use it as any other type of holder if you want. If you want to store your tripod in there, you can do so. But what you do is just take these straps out, loop it, close it up, and it does that. One thing I would say is be careful when you're storing anything in here, especially your water bottle, because I do not think that it closes up pretty well. Your water bottle can actually slip out of here. Be careful. One time I was on an airplane trying to put the backpack up in the airplane compartment, and my water bottle actually slipped out and hit someone. So definitely make sure that this is pretty secure. So this drawstring here, you want to make sure that's very tight, and I don't think that you can get a very tight clamp on that with this design, but needless to say, it's still a good accessory to have. All right, another pro is this backpack has side access on both sides. Actually, so you have the ability of removing gear on either side of your bag if you don't want to get too deep into the top, or if you don't want to open the backpack from the rear and expose everything. So neat design there. And again, going back to the modularity of the backpack, another pro is these straps here. You can put your tripod on the rear. Again, you got these additional accessories here that you can put anywhere that you want to. Pretty good design. One of the main reasons why I prefer this backpack design. Now let's talk about some of the cons for the Lowepro bag. Now, not every backpack is perfect, and I'm gonna tell you why this one isn't the perfect bag for me. This bag is not as versatile as, say, the Incase bag. Reason being is this is strictly a camera bag. So if you open it here, you can see you can fit a lot of gear in this, but this is the only compartment that you can store things in from a gear standpoint. You can't add like a jacket or anything like that in a secondary pocket that's deep enough to hold that, because it's only designed for fitting gear. Sure, you can put a laptop in there. Sure, you can put some lens filters and things in this side compartment. But if you look on the other exterior of the, exterior of the backpack, there are no other real areas that you can store anything in addition to that. They do have some smaller pockets here, but they're small. You can't fit everything in there, and I really wish that this had another section that will allow you to store additional things that's not necessarily camera related, but you can actually store that in there, and this backpack does not have that, so it's not as versatile in my opinion. Another con, which is more of a personal preference for me, is the laptop compartment is on the rear. It is here on the back side of the backpack, and what I don't like about that is your laptops are flat and rigid, and when this is pressed against your back, it really makes for a less comfortable experience in my opinion. I believe this gets a little bit too flat and too hard. There's no flex, there's no give, and it gets a little bit uncomfortable for me. So I find myself, as soon as I get to my hotel or my destination, I find myself removing the laptop immediately so that I can get some more flexibility out of the rear of the backpack. It's not pressed against my back so hard and it's so uncomfortable. So I don't really like that about those designs. Alright. Another con I would say are the straps. I think the straps are a little bit on the thin side. Now it does have some ventilation, which is positive, but I still think that they're a little too thin for my liking. So when you're wearing a lot of pounds on your shoulders, you want to have the most comfortable experience, and I think this one being a little thin makes it a little bit more uncomfortable to me over a longer period of time. Now they've since released a version 2 of this backpack where I believe they've improved the thickness of the straps, but for the version 1 it's a little bit on the thinner side. Another con is, and it's more of a pet peeve of mine, is this backpack does not like to stand upright. Mostly because of how the bottom and the shape of the backpack is. It doesn't really have like even sides, so it doesn't really have a nice flat surface to sit upright on. That can get pretty annoying. So again, just a pet peeve of mine, but I'm pretty sure if it annoys me, it probably annoys someone else out there. So just wanted to make sure that I mention it in this review. Alright, so that's about all the cons that I can think about with this backpack. Again, pretty good bag. A lot of people like this design, but this is, in my experience, these are the pros and cons for the Lowepro Protactic 450AW. Alright, let's talk about the Incase now. Alright, so here we go. We got the Incase Camera Pro Pack design backpack here. Let's talk about some of the pros of this bag. Now, the biggest pro of this backpack compared to all other camera backpacks that I've owned is just the pure versatility of it. Now, not only does it have your rear camera compartment, which is necessary for a camera bag, but it has this secondary and a third section of the backpack where you can store a lot of things outside of your camera gear. Now, you got your laptop compartment here, but you have this deep pocket that you can store just about anything you can think of here. So I tend to put headphones, even jackets in this pocket here. So this compartment comes in handy. I really love that about this backpack. And then it doesn't stop there. You have even more space in this front compartment. I like that it has a place for your pens, or maybe like a power bank or a small tablet, but you can put additional things in here. This is a pretty deep pocket. You can put headphones, you can put another jacket here if you want to, you can put some shorts or t-shirts in there. There's a little pocket here that you can put little things. Now again, the Lowepro has some of these pockets, but it doesn't have deep enough pockets where you could store things like that in there. And I didn't even talk about this small pocket here on the exterior. Again, it's just more of a versatile bag when it comes to carrying a lot of gear that's not necessarily camera gear. All right. Now, another pro, the straps. These straps are a lot more beefier than the Lowepro design. And I really like that about this backpack because it's very comfy when you're carrying a lot of gear in here. It definitely comes in handy with those long days of wearing a lot of pounds on your back. Good design here by Incase. I really like that. Now, going back to the middle of the backpack, another pro is your laptop compartment. For me, being that it is placed in the middle, definitely increases the comfort of this backpack. With the laptop being here, you don't have to worry about the rear of your bag being so rigid that it's borderline uncomfortable. This can stay flexible. The padding here is not compromised in any way, and actually it kind of helps with you storing more gear here that's a little bit longer because you don't have that laptop on the back that's restricting your gear from expanding the backpack a little bit. So I really like that about this design. Very good design there. And another pro is it has these dedicated straps on the side where you can stick a tripod or gimbal, anything that you want on the exterior of the bag. So I like that they include that here. Some backpacks don't have this. The Lowepro has some straps. It's not as dedicated as this, but it's more customizable because you can put your straps anywhere. But the fact that they include it on here is a plus in my opinion. Now let's talk about some of the cons of the backpack. As you can see here, there is no water bottle holder for this backpack. Now there's a side pocket here which is not deep enough for you to put a water bottle in, unless it's like a flat water bottle, which is not practical. You won't find those everywhere. So I would say that's a big con that they have on this backpack. I don't know why they didn't include it. I think most people that are out shooting for a long day's work would like to have some type of beverage on hand. So it would be cool if they could include that on here, but they did not for whatever reason. So I think it's a con for this backpack. There's also no waist strap. So again, when you're loading this thing up with a lot of gear, this bag can get very heavy. And if you don't have a waist strap to help alleviate some of that weight off your shoulders, this can get pretty uncomfortable. So far I've been able to deal with it without it, but boy, there are some days where I wish I had a removable waist strap, and it would be very cool for this backpack to have that included with it. So Incase, if you're coming up with a version 2 or version 3 of this backpack, definitely find a way to include a removable waist strap. It's needed. Another con, I would say, but it's not a deal breaker for me because I find myself not using it a lot, is it's not side accessible like the Lowepro is. Now you can see there's no way you can grab any gear out from the side on either side here. But where it makes up for it is, again, the bigger pockets. I would much rather have these secondary pockets here on the rear of the backpack than have side access on the two sides of the bag. That's just my personal preference. But again, it's not there, so some people, they enjoy that feature. This bag does not have it. All right, so those are some of the cons for this bag. All right, let's talk about price. Let me bring the Lowepro bag back in the frame here. Now, both of these backpacks are not the cheapest out there, but the Incase bag is cheaper than the Lowepro. You can find the Incase Camera Pro Pack going for about $200 to $220, either on the Incase website or on Amazon. This is the version 1 of the Lowepro Protactic 450AW. This bag was going for about $270 when it came out. You can find it on other sites cheaper than that, but that's the retail price for this bag. It is now discontinued, and there's a version 2 for this. The version 2 is now $280, which has similar features as the version 1. So as you can see, there's a big price difference, about $60 difference between the Lowepro and the Incase backpack. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the better value is definitely the Incase bag. This is my bag of choice. I think, again, for the versatility reasons, although the Lowepro does have some customizable features on the bag, I think this one, when it comes day to day, this is more practical, mostly due to the extra pockets and storage capacity that you have here built into the bag itself. I really like that about the Incase bag. There is another version of this that's a little bit smaller and a little bit cheaper. One second. Haha. Now this bag looks very similar, doesn't it? Now this is the Incase Pro DSLR Backpack. Now this is a little bit smaller than the Incase Camera Pro Pack. This is more so for fitting regular cameras, like if you have a mirrorless or any type of even full frame cameras, but not as big as 1DX Mark II or some of your biggest lenses. But as you can see here, the side profile is a little bit shallower than this backpack, but they both have similar features. It doesn't have some of the bigger pockets that the Camera Pro Pack has. But if you're out there looking for good value, you can find the Incase Pro DSLR pack for about $100 out there. So if you don't want to invest in the bigger backpack, search out the Pro DSLR pack, and that should be a good value. Obviously I have them both because they both serve me well, but once my gear started getting a little bit bigger, I thought I needed more storage capacity, and I think this has suited me just fine. But I love having them both, so if I don't carry that much gear, I can opt for either backpack. Alright, so this is my comparison review between the Incase and the Lowepro bag. Again, both very good backpacks, very popular backpacks out there. But if I had to choose, again, I choose the Incase on a day-to-day basis. So that concludes my comparison review of these two camera bags. If you like it, like this video. If you love it, sub to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.